Good evening. If you guys can hear me, could you please give me a green check? My friend and Eric, if you guys can hear me, could you please give me a green check? Matthew and Ross. Thanks. I really would like one more time, Eric, can you give me a green check? You and Jacob. Thank you. I'm just looking at your chat, guys. It seems you were not able to take it for what reason. Joe message. I usually don't receive the quiz when you guys are done. Amy does. So let me email Amy and I'll ask her about you. How many of you guys were able to take the quiz? Can you give me a green check if you were able to take the quiz? Okay, if you were able to take the quiz. One more green, you guys were able to take the quiz on time. Okay. All right. Seems the majority of you guys were able to. So and so I'll ask about yours, Joe. Any other questions guys about the quiz? I was just watching your chat here. Well, I believe I emailed Amy about your situation too. I don't know if she got back to you. Can you chat with me if she got back to you? I will remind her today after we finish this class. Okay, Eric, can I hear from you guys, my friend? I need you to give me a green check, Eric. So it seems, and I want you to be following me, guys. You know that this is monitored. She did not. Okay. All right. I'll email her one more time. I really have access to these when you guys send them. I just got it. You guys brought with you. So semester 1, we have finished one semester in classes, and we're entering the second semester, which is a second probably 20, almost 22, 23 classes that we're going to be going over. I don't know if you guys remember what we did last week. We went over conduits, and we rigid metal conduits. We also did intermediate metal conduits. We did EMT, PVC, and a bunch of other ear, nose, and throat, doctor, ENT, and a bunch of other little conduits. That's what we did last week. I don't remember, Eric. There is close to 40 to 50 wiring methods in the NEC code book, if not even more, if you can. There's so many ways, and the idea, guys, is because NEC code book is all 50 states plus other countries that adopt it. So there's different needs for different uses. So if you know, that's why you have the conduits, then you have the cables, then you have flexible conduits. Then now tonight we're going to be talking about raceways. How to wire with wireways and raceways. That's a wiring method. If you don't want to use a cable, if you don't want to use a conduit, option of wiring systems, surface raceways and wireways. So this is the topic for tonight, guys. We'll talk about surface raceways, metallic, non-metallic, wireways, metallic, non-metallic. We'll talk about multi-outlet assembly, best use for these wiring methods. Before we guys move ahead, I would like to always review the quiz with you. I went over the quiz, and it seems all you did good, the ones who submitted anyway. And let me just see one more thing here. Okay. So let me just see here. Okay. Okay, let me see here. Give 1 second. I just crossed my mind that I can. If that's the one that we are 119. This start 119. Okay, that must be 2/20/24. Okay, so Joe, I do have your results. I'm sorry, I should have checked. See, I checked one of them. Joe, yes, I do have your results that you took the exam. So and Jacob, what's your last name? Jacob, I'm just looking. Jacob. Okay. Or am I looking at one here? No, I'm sorry, guys. I don't think I'm looking at the wrong one here. Never mind. I'm not the right one here. Let me just give me one more second here if I can find. Okay. Alright. Okay. Why isn't I can't see the detail. See the detail quiz that you guys did, but I can't see the names. I must not have received the names or misplaced there. Detail number 11. Okay. Quiz. Okay, what is going on here? Let me see here. Oh, this is from 1/19/2010. That's not you guys in any shape or form. Okay, so I'll find out about who took the class or not. All right, let's go back, guys, for this little tour. Let me see here. Okay, so if you're taking it, okay, let me check on the ones who have not taken it. Just drop me a chat here, guys. Hold on, guys. Let me just go over. I owe you the results with you guys. ENT, and I'm going to go right here, grab my highlighter. We could. It seems the ones who took the test, I had the accumulated results. Seems all of you guys have scored almost 80 or higher than that. T, guys, is not rated. Our answer for this one for the support of fixture. It's not can't be supporting fixtures. You install it concealed over 3. If you guys remember, over the 3-story building, if you conceal it with a 50-meter thermal barrier in location above suspended ceiling with 50 meters, so everything is okay except you can't use it to support the fixture. And stop me, guys, at any time if I'm going too fast here. NT is not permitted, all of the above in theaters because it produces smoke if the system is medium voltage, and direct burial is not listed. So moving on to the maximum number of bends in ENT, all conduits, guys, the maximum number of bends for all conduits is 360. T must be fastened with N. And our answer for this one from the code is 3 feet of every termination. Every feet of every termination. It is not true that the aluminum, it's not, emphasize the word not, it's true that the aluminum rigid metal conduit is, and our answer is, remember, it's a negative. It's not true. I can't emphasize the word not. Is easy to thread and B. I'm sorry, this is not my answer for that one. My answer for that one is B, as a matter of fact, because of not thread. Is excellent for underground installation. Is kind of negative response, guys. Aluminum and underground are not a good combination. So aluminum conduits are not meant to be installed underground because of corrosion, highly corrosive environment. Okay, moving on. Running threads are permitted to be used in rigid metal conduits. For running threads, our answer is none of the above. Get confused probably with the word nibbles here. So the answer should be that answer that we're looking for. But some of you for nibbles connected to enclosures by means of lock nuts or lock nuts and bushings. Under certain circumstances, guys, you can use a running threads if it's tight with lock nuts and so forth. You can use it. How many of you guys answered B? Anybody remember? How many of you guys have answered B? There's a few of you. Answer question B. The confusion is because sometimes we use it as a nibble because you can get them tight between the enclosures. Well, let me check. When I get your answers, guys, if you answer it B, I will give you credit for that. But we will, in generally speaking, you don't use it. There's a special application where you might be able with certain lock nuts to use it as between two conduits. As between two conduits. Here's my conduit 1, conduit 2, and you type and you put it right in here between the two conduits. So I'll check who gets B and I'll give you credit. Okay, 7, my friends. Our answer is 10 here, and it says industrial runs of not through framing of 1/2 and 3/4 rigid conduit must be supported every 10 feet. That's straightforward from the table. For 8, my friends, our answer was 5 for this one. The structural members do not permit. I am EMC support to be at prescribed distance from terminal. It can be secured within 5 feet. No 3 feet. If you can't support it within termination, you can go all the way up to 5 feet if you can't, because of the structural members you can't support. So, my friends, straight horizontal runs of 3-inch rigid conduit with threaded couplings must be supported at intervals of not more than 20. 20. This is bell condition, guys. Straight horizontal runs and so forth. So you can go all the way up to 20 feet. 11 rigid. 10. 11 rigid non-metallic. Any of the following. PC is permitted to be used exposed through building, single floor, 3 floors, 5 floors, any height, no problem. PC and height, no problem. No restriction on PVC like ENT. 11, my friends, our answer was all. PVC is the king of the kings when it comes to corrosive, especially corrosive environment with location underground. Bring it on, no problem. Schedule 30. Schedule 80, guys. Schedule 80, the key point is physical damage. So Schedule 80 is permitted to be used in physical damage, fire-resistant places of assembly, no. Hazardous location to support fixtures, no. It's meant not for these, but physical protection, not severe physical protection. Physical protection, you should be able to use Schedule 80. 13, my friends, our answer for that one was B, is blah, blah, blah. Support must be split not over 6 feet. Rigid conduit, rigid non-metallic conduit every 6 feet for that one from the table. 14, my friends, EMT. EMT is not, I can't emphasize the word not here, permitted to be installed and subject to physical damage. And I know a lot of you guys think EMT can protect you, but speaking, EMT is not your conduit of choice, especially if it's severe physical damage. Severe physical damage. So, is not in hazardous location, support luminaires for any of the purposes listed above. So that 14, actually 14, our answer is all of the above. All of the above. But it confuses the physical damage. No hazardous location. There is some exception. Support fixture, no. So, 14, 15. 15, and our answer for that one is D. The horizontal runs of EMT support by opening through frames of blah blah of over 10 feet and secured within 3 feet of termination are not required to have additional support. Code 15, 16. Any question, guys? Am I going too fast? I know you scored really good. I just went over the answers with you. Any questions? Any questions, guys? I'm just keeping here. Okay, make sure I'm not. ENT is permitted to be installed. Number 16 is our answer is C. In ambient temperature of 50 or less. 50 or less. This is a high voltage for lighting fixture in classified location, not classified location, and that include all of them. So the answer should be in temperature limitation of 50 or less. 17. 17, my friends, our answer is B, which is for ENT. You can install it above 3 stories, run concealed, blah blah blah, over 3 stories. The key point is over 3 stories. You need to conceal it behind walls, ceilings, or floors that that's 15-minute fire-rated 15-minute assembly, or walls and ceiling and floors. 18 is number 4. Insulated bushings. If you have a conductor, insulated conductor that enters the conduit, rigid metal conduit enclosure, if it's number 4 or larger, you have to have that insulating bushings. So you cannot, will not, shall not damage the insulation of the conductor. 18. Number 19, ENT is permitted to be used to support. None of the ENT is not meant for support. If you want to support your fixture independently, boxes independently, and receptacles independently. The box. That's basically our answer for this one. EMT couplings and connectors of the proper type are permitted to be number 20D, all of the above. In masonry, buried in concrete, installed in wet location. So all these are listed, the connections and the couplings for EMT. EMT, guys, is not your conduit in wet location, but you can use it outside wet location where it's not exposed to, to dirt and so forth. Any question, guys, about this before we move into our lesson for the night? We talk about surface with multi-outlet assemblies and so forth. Questions, my friends? So to go over the questions first, get them out of the way, we move on into our class for the night. Before we start, guys, let me ask you this question. How many of you have installed Wireways? Recheck yes, no. How many of you guys have installed Wireways? Wireways, all of you. Okay. How about let's move into my friends. My favorite is Raceways. Surface with Raceways. How many of you have installed surface-rated Raceways? The mold, as a mold, surface Raceways. Okay, so you're familiar with that type of wiring. And last one on my question, of course, I'm going to ask you a few probably. Multi assembly in offices, receptacles, wires, and all what you have to do, chuck wire them or plug them in. How many of you guys have installed that? Multi assembly. Okay, so all of you have installed these. So we're talking guys about basically raceways, metallic, non-metallic, wireways, metallic, non-metallic, and multi-outlet assembly. I'm going to start by saying, guys, these wiring methods are not your choice if you are to wire a commercial building completely from A to Z. It will be expensive to use surface raceways or new construction. EME and MC cable still is the best scenario if you're doing a new construction. Now, if you need to remodeling, guys, and if you need to extend circuits, remodeling, busting walls, and you need things on the surface, and you need to bust walls, raceways become really a conduit of choice. For example, in schools are notoriously famous of that bring more outlets to certain areas, but you don't want to bust walls and do EMTs because EMTs look like crap as you put them against the wall. You want something that looks nice and surface mounted. Then that will be an option for you for raceways, mounted raceways, or non-metallic. So that's basically an option for it. Multi-outlet assembly in offices or a concentration of receptacles. I'm going to get into them, guys. There's a lot of loads concentrated in one area. Buying a multi-outlet assembly with a certain length, guys, and installing it, hardwire it or so, put it in one place for equipment to be plugged in it. That could be an wiring of choice for offices, computer lab areas, and things like that. So that's a multi-outlet assembly. Again, multi-outlet assembly, the difference, guys, is it has the devices housed in it. A lot of them are hardwired, pre-wired by manufacturer. You buy a certain length, either you come in as or you can hardwire them. And it gives a concentration of receptacles in certain area for lab. If you have equipment, you need to plug them everywhere. In an office environment where they have a lot of receptacles in a cubicle, and so forth. So that's basically the multi-outlet assembly. It's not meant to be a raceway, multi-outlet assembly. I will do this one in a second. Is mostly meant to extend, to take a feeder from point A to point B instead of, at least that's how I've seen them, to take a bunch of wires from point A to point B, either as a branch circuits or feeders. Raceway is meant as a whole distribution system, boxes and devices and so forth, while wireways, guys, is meant like feeders. I always think of wireways as feeders if you install them. That's what we basically tonight we're going to be discussing: wireways, surface raceways, the difference between them, multi-outlet assembly, and so forth. before we head, my first conduit of choice, guys, is going to be talking about wireways. Now, for wireways, I'm going to do two things, my friends. One, I'm going to go over a few slides here, and then I'm going to go jump into the code and basically go over over a couple of things also in that particular article for wireways. So what can come, like everything else, guys, you can buy them metallic and non-metallic. If I am to ask you, Eric, one thing that you learned from all these conduits, always if you have a metallic it's not a good choice in highly corrosive environment. I mean, if you need to guess, if you have an environment, guys, highly corrosive, your choice is number one is non-metallic. So that's kind of always in my mind, where should I use non-metallic versus metallic? It's really basically the one factor is highly corrosive or non-highly corrosive. Don't put them in any other location. So Raceways, here's the definition, guys. It's a sheet metal raceway hinged. Here's the key point is. The key point is the hinged or removable cover. It identifies the wireways for housing. Look what it's housing and protecting electrical wires and cables or cables. Conductors must be placed after the wireway has been installed. Very good. And I just say that you will install them. This is a very good application, at least in my mind, when I think of wireways. An extension, it's like a gutter, and I'm going to tell you what the difference between a wireway and a second. So as you can see, you bring the service over here to a wireway, and you use it to tap your conductors from the service entrance conductor coming into the building all the way to different meters and out to a different location in the building. That's very ideal application, guys, for wireways. Ideal application. Any questions? How many of you guys have installed a wireway in this application? How many of you guys have installed a wireway in this application? Basically, a great application for a wireway, where you can your service to it. It's used as a J box, almost as a J box, where you can your termination blocks and tab the service conductors to the or the meters from the service conductors, the feeder from the service conductor to go to different parts of your building. Basically, what a good application for it, guys. Anybody knows what the difference between a wireway and a gutter? The difference between a wireway and a gutter? Someone put you in the spot, because they sometimes if you look at them and say, Chad, well, that's a gutter. Okay, that's kind of the confusion, guys. We'll get into that one. The key points between wireway and gutters, and both of them are in the NEC code book. The main difference between and wireways. Wireways come in a standard sections. So you can have a 4x4, a 6x6, and as long as you want it to be. A wireway come in a standardized cross sections, 2x2, 4x4, and so forth. And then you can buy sections and build it as long as you want it to be. The major advantage with a cover, of course, removable or hinged cover. Gutters, they can come in a customized dimensions. So I can custom design a gutter that can be 4 feet by 6 feet if I want it to be. And the gutter. And gutters are meant, guys, as an extension to the equipment. So they're customized. You can get them in dimension. They're meant to extend the panel to go from location. Here's panel number 1. I'm going to bring a gutter right here with a foot and pull a feeder or a bus or whatever, and to another panel. So extension of the panels, and I'll show you in a second here. That's what a gutter means. And also remember, gutters have a limitation of 30 feet. So you can't have a gutter that's longer than 30 feet. That's kind of and 30 feet is a lot to extend panel. an external panel. So that's it. So they don't come in a standardized shapes. It's custom design. You can buy it 4 feet by 4 feet if you want it to be, and a limitation of 30 feet. But those smaller size guys, they look alike. They almost look alike. Any question guys about that? Look at the gutters in a second here. Any question? Gutters versus the wireways, because we really look alike. Wireways versus raceways. Wireways, I can't emphasize the word, guys. Wireways, most of the time they have a hinged or removable cover, easy to remove them. Raceways have, most raceways guys have a cover that you can remove it. But really, the wireways versus raceways, wireways come in also in standardized sections, cross sections, squares. Raceways, surface raceways can come in any shape that you want, also standardized but different shapes than square. And also, wires are meant to, as I said, to house and protect electrical conductors between equipment. As you can see, where surface-mounted raceways, they're meant like an EMT conduit, guys. You would never use, and I'm not going to say you would never. It's not a good choice. If I want to feed my friend Eric, if I want to go feed a receptacle, you can choose a Wireway to go feed a receptacle. So a receptacle light and a switch. What is not my methods of choice for this application? A raceway wood, a mold, we call it a mold wood, because mold can come up with boxes, come up with these fittings and angles and so forth. Any questions, my friends? So I'll give you guys to think where wireways are. I always think of wireways as feeders, you know, though you can carry branch circuits with them, but mostly, as you can see, it's a very good application of a wireway. I do just quick share my desktop with you. Monitor, let's say monitor 1. Okay, it's going here. Go. And monitor 1, my friends, and I do have a picture of a sheet of a wireway. Here's content fitting, wireways, duct and fittings. You can see how it's hinged, as you can see here. See ducts and fittings. Look at the dimensions: 16-gauge carbon steel bodies and lids. There's an end standard. Straight wireways, duct protected electrical wires in location where dust, dirt, oil, and water are not serious problems. Hinged covers allow easy laying of wires. Doors can be hung in open position or removed from the top. So that's basically what wireways, as you can see, and I'm sure you've seen a lot of you guys. Here's a link that you can look at 4x4. This is a 4x4 wireway. So that's it comes in different standards. I can see how they're all square, 4x4, 6x6 way, with fittings and angles and all the hardware that comes with it. Here's 4x4. This is a square D, different manufacturers. The bottoms are cable tray, but these are basically duct and fittings. The length that they come is from 1 foot. Look at that. I can buy all the way up to 10 lengths with knockouts or without knockouts, and so you can see how the length that you can buy and all the hardware that comes with it. So that's a good example. If you have not seen, I'm sure a lot of you guys have. These are, especially the first one. And the second these are your wireways and with the items and the fittings that you can. And these are 4x4. You can get them into multiple sizes. So that's basically just a quick run of wireway. Any question is before we move into more things about wireways? Okay. Go through, guys. You're going to see the advantage and disadvantage of wireways as we go through them. Use is permitted. You can use it in exposed work, in concealed spaces, as permitted in 4, when we talk about 4 below, and hazardous location. Believe it or not, in a class 1 Div 2 location for intrinsically safe wiring. Intrinsically safe wiring, I can't emphasize that one. Intrinsically safe wiring is nothing in it. Extension to paths. Now, most of them are exposed, guys, but they can conceal look at what the concealing. If you were to conceal it, that's kind of an interesting. The action to pass transversely through the wall. If the link passes through the wall is then access to the conductor shall be maintained on both sides of the wall. So can conceal a wireway, no problem. Here's my wall over here. I want to bring my wall unbroken, a broken piece of the wireway through the wall, but I have to maintain right in both sides, guys. I have to be able to open that wireway, open hinge door of the wireway in both sides, if that makes sense. So a broken part of the wireway can go through the wall, but to maintain access to the wires in both sides of the wall. Any questions about that? But for the most part, it is an exposed wiring system. That's why we like it. Exposed. It's a cover. You mount it on the wall. You put your conductor on it, and you cover it. You cover it, and you go. Then you tap it and do whatever you want to do with it. Any comments about that one? Use is not permitted. Where can't I use it? Severe physical damage. I can't emphasize the word severe, not just physical damage, the word severe physical damage. When you see the word severe physical damage, you always think of rigid metal conduit. That's kind of where it comes in. That's the first one. That's a limitation. The other one, guys, is look at the word again. Severe physical damage. This is severe corrosion. Alex, what do you expect from any metallic conduit, guys? You don't want to cover it, you don't want to put it in a severe environment because of course. One is any thoughts about that one? Basically, physical damage and corrosion is enemy number one of wireways. Number one of wireways are these two things. Any question, guys? So they're basically wireway. A couple of applications, guys, for wireways, and you can so here's my probably use. I don't want to. So here's my main panel here. So you come up with a feeder here, guys, and bring feeder to a wireway, and I can feed my disconnects here and feed multiple motors. That's a lot of a good application for it. See how I put my disconnect, I'm feeding multiple motors from it, I'm tapping the feeder, and either you tap the feeder or you pull conductors for this. So you're using, this is my wireway. You tap one feeder or you bring multiple feeders, guys. So that's the application for it. Bring up with conductors, especially if the motors are small motor, guys, 5, 10, 15 horsepower motors at 480. The conductors are very small. You talk about 520 amp conductors, so you can carry them with number 8 and number 6, number 8 conductor. You can bring all these, group them together, put them in their way, drop them down to the disconnect, and from the disconnect you can go and feed your equipment. Anybody install it this way, guys? Anybody install a wire in this application? Nobody? Somebody install a wireway in this application? No? Another good application, I think, for a wireway. Use a gutter here too. You can use a gutter all the way from the panel all the way to the feeders, but that's a standard use of the wireways. Size of the conductor. Wireways are so we got the metallic wireways spaces. Okay. Can the question, JC, my friend, would be, can I install 500 kcm in a wireway? Oops, 500 kcm? Maybe. The answer is you have to, the maximum wire size permitted in a wireway must be marked on the wireway itself. So when you buy a wireway, they mark it with the largest number of conductor, largest size conductor is 4/0. This is a single standalone conductor. Maximum size conductor permitted in wireway is marked on the wireway. So you will be marking the size on the wireway. I'll tell you, they don't want you to go there. If you see 4 is the largest, don't want you to go with 500 to 500 kcm. So very important, marked on the wireway, the size. And so number of conductors and ambiguity. This is very interesting, and I want you guys to wake up if you are sleeping now. Number of conductors, ambiguity, cross-section area, and adjustment factor. Now, the minimum number of conductors permitted in a wireway is 20% of the cross-section area of the wireway. Very interesting. And I don't have my calculator here, so if I grab my calculator, so we'll do a little bit of math here for you. How many conductors can I fit in a wireway? By the way, this is on your journeyman exam. There's an example of this in your journeyman exam, guys. They show how many conductors you can fit in a wireway. Well, how do I do? If you guys look at that, there's a 20% of the cross-section area of the wireway. So here's an example, Jacob, my friend. You just bought a 4x4 inch wireway. Okay, I bought a 4x4 inch wireway, both of them. So the section of this 4x4, as we all know, you multiply 4x4 and then you multiply it by 0.2, which is 20%. And if my math right, I go 4 times 0.2 equal 3.2 square inches. Square inches. This is square inches. 3.2 square inch that I can fill. Okay. So the most important thing. Can you see? You guys can give me a green check if you guys can hear me. Can hear me? One moment, hear me. Give me an X or green if you can. So I just don't want to be lost when I move my tool here. Oh, so 3.2, my friend Joe, is that's the largest amount of conductors. I mean the cubic area. That's good. This is the area that you can fill. Okay, and what do we do, guys? We're gonna go and you can go and find the cross-sectional area of conductor. So if I want to find many conductors, number 12, guys, number 12, conductors T, H, N, I can fit in wireway like this. So all we have to do is you're gonna go to chapter in the code, chapter 9. In chapter 9, we're gonna go to table number 5. Table 5. And table number 5, guys, it will get you the cross-sectional area of the conductor. The sectional area of the conductor. So I want you guys, if you go with me to table number 5, let's just do the example. I have a cross-sectional area of table number 5, THHN conductor. I emphasize the word THHN, and it's page 678. 678, Eric. I assume you guys have your code book with you. This is page 678, table 5. If you look at right in the middle of table number 5, you're going to see THHN in the middle. And if you look at the last column, I need the THHN, actually not in the middle, right at the top. The top is number 12. The top of the page, you're going to find that number 12 cross-section area is 0.0133. So it's a 0.0133. This is a cross-sectional area of one conductor number 12. Ever get that one? Can you give me a green check if you get that number or you know how to get that number? No? Okay. So now you find the cross-section area of that conductor. Well, PHS, and if I know the cross-section area, this is like we size conduits, guys, the same way. The same way we size conduits. Then look what I'm going to be doing here. I'm going to take my 3, I don't know if you see where I moved in, 3.2. I'm going to divide that 3.2 that I came up with a 0.133. Okay, can you see that? I divided the 3.2 by 0.0133, and that will get you 240 conductors. 240 conductors, number 12, that I can slam code this number. Okay? Gotcha. Okay, so that's basically, everybody, can you guys see what I did? I divided the cross-sectional area that's left, that can fill. I divided it by the cross-sectional area of conductor number 12, and I discovered I can fill that wireway 4x4, 240 conductors over 12 Ch. Okay? So that's how many conductors you can fill in a raceway. I want to mention another very important thing, guys, derating. Important things is which is derating. If your conductors, look at that table, that's when you derate based on the number of conductors. If you exceed 30, the carry conductor exceeds, not amps, please drop the word amps here. If you exceed 30 conductors, we can even the word amps here. If you exceed, there you go. If you exceed 30 conductors, carrying conductors, then you start derating. Okay, in a conduit, Joe, if you have more than 3 conductors hot, you start derating based on 310.15b2a, right? In a wireway, allow you to go all the way up to 30. So advantage. That's an advantage. Just guys to give you an idea what a 30 is. If you divide 30 divided by 4, that's 11.5. Let's see, 28 divided by 4 equal. So just to give an idea, a 30 can give you 7 circuits. Each one of them a three-phase, plus a neutral. Just to give you an idea what that means. So if you have 7 circuits, each one of them is a 3-phase and a neutral. How many hots you can have with that one? So 7 times 3 equal. That will give you, my friend Jacob, 20 amp circuits that you can use in one wireway. That's how circuits, 21 amp circuits that you can use. Just to give you an idea, Ross, my friend, what you can do with these 20 amp circuits, I can carry in a commercial building, I can carry up to 10 receptacles, general purpose receptacles. You can put 10 on and then rule of thumb 10 in a commercial building. If it's an office building, you put 6 receptacles on 120 amp circuits. So you can carry 6 times 21. You can carry 126 receptacles in an office building one wireway. If you take the wireway from the service all the way to one location and then split these wires. You can just if you are powering light with this wireway, you can carry almost 40 lights out of 277. If you're using 277 times 21, you can carry so do it one more time, 21 circuits times 40 lamps on one circuit. You carry 840 lights from this gutter of a wireway. That's our power. So I'm trying to emphasize, guys, how big of a power you can put in this wireway. Any question? I message is big how powerful that wiring system you can get. Now, my friend Eric, the same calculation I've done in front of you guys is also a limitation. This is a limitation of the use of the wireway. You cannot fill the wireway more than 20%. Let me get your attention, Jesse, my friend. If it was a surface-mounted raceway, then you can actually fill it more than 20% if you want to. You can fill a raceway, surface-mounted raceway, metallic, non-metallic, more than 20%. Wireways are limited to 20%. So that's kind of another disadvantage. One disadvantage of wireway over surface raceway. Over raceway. Anything else about this? So I hope I got the message here. 30, even though you still need 30 hots or 30 hots and a neutral. My calculation was based on 30 hots and a neutral, common neutral, which I counted as a hot because it's feeding harmonic, and this is when we count it. did in front of you guys. Expect this one in your German exam. Insulation conductors. As you enter your insulated conductors, guys, let me see. Do I have my picture? Yeah. You need wire would be sized appropriately for the bending radius of conductors. Because of the conductors, bending radius of the conductors, two things. Number one, if you bring an, oops, let me use a different color here. You use an insulated conductor, which 99.9% of the time we do. If you use it and you bring it to a conduit like this, you have to pay attention to the bending radius of the cable. Bending radius of the cable. And which table that we go to? Table 312.6a. If you guys go to table 312.a, this particular table, it will tell that the radius, if you bring a 5, and we're talking about big boys here, 500 kcm. If you bring 500 kcm to this wireway, you better maintain a radius of 6 inches. That would be basically the height of the wireway. Height of the wireway. So basically the radius to be able to bend the conduit, to be able to bend. To be able to bend the cable, and with a radius that does not violate the smallest radius that you can bend a conduit with. So short, if you're bringing cable, guys, box, it's wireway, you have to pay attention to table. This is table 312.6a, and based on one terminal, the radius of the conductor cannot be smaller than the radius of the conductor cannot be smaller than number 6. So you have to take this one in consideration as you size your wireway. Anything else about this? We're talking about, these are major cables, guys, and apply to all cables, but it becomes an issue. If it's a number 12, Eric, it's not a big deal. We have a big boys bending them, so you need to give enough ample amount of time to bend, to make a 90 degree out of this 500 kcm cable without violating the smallest radius that you can bend the cable with. Any question about the smallest radius from 312.6? 312.6. And I'm going to mention, guys, is pole box. If you decided to use the wireway as a pole box, well, I can get you an example. Here's an example. I have a wireway here. This is my my power panel, or let's say a lighting panel here, and brought my gutter in here, and gutter in here, and down from here I brought the conduit and another conduit that's going somewhere, and I brought from the conduit, let me see another, I brought from that conduit a cable that actually went through the gutterway and came down. It's a cable. Then the wireway becomes a pole box. You get the rules of the pole box? We will be studying the rules of the pole box. It's like this, guys, the dimension, the height of this wireway. Say this was a 4-incher, EBC, rigid, whatever, and this is another 4-incher. Okay? That says from article, which article that talks about 240? Let me grab the article for you. The article is 314.28. The article is 314.28. If you go to 314.28, it tells you if you have a U-pole, this is called a U-pole. It looks like a U, right? The conductors came in, out to go somewhere else. You know what I mean? So basically, and some of you will say, oh, Chad, why didn't go the panel? So it could be that conductors also coming from the panel, guys, and going somewhere in the same conduit. You know what I mean? A different conduit. But we have a situation where a cable is coming in and coming out in the same. Then when you size it, you take 6 times from the code, 6 times 4 plus 4. So the code says plus 4. The code says you multiply the largest conduit by 4 and add the other conduits to it. So 6 times 4, 24 plus 4, 30. Right? My math. So of this conduit cannot be less than 30 inches. So 4 6 24 plus 4 30. Chad, what am I drunk tonight or what? So 4 times 6 24 plus 4 28. My apology, 28. I'll give you 28. And it's about sizing the wireway as a pull box. You use the wireway as a pull box. Otherwise, as you size it this way, my friend Eric, if the conductors are number 4 or larger. So Chad, or larger. Now, if all your conductors, like our example, number 10, number 12, who cares? This rule only applies if the conductors are number 4 or larger. Okay, that's basically, I'm looking at your chat, guys, here. Okay, so if the conductor that you pull is 4 or larger, this is when you, my friends, you have to pay a little bit of attention to sizing the wireway as a pull box. A pull box. You guys have installed a pull box, not J box. Anybody, a pull box? A pull box is like a J box that has conductors number 4 or larger. We use direction, dimension, and so forth. Okay, so a few of you have installed. It's not a J box. A J box says if conductors are less than number 4. 4, so they'll give it number 6, number 8. These are J boxes. Pull boxes are number 4 larger. Oh, we have to keep the bending radius, guys, as well as sizing as the pull box. Sizing pull box. And trying to, and that's about what we covered. Anybody has any question, any comments, any look for my stuff, USB 70. Any comments? I hope I'm not putting you to sleep, my friends. So metallic wireways, okay, support. The second thing, guys, the last thing when oops, let me see what's here. Okay, wireways longer than 5 feet shall be supported at both ends. So I have a wireway here, and this wireway is longer than 4 feet. So this is a 6-foot wireway. I need to support right here and support right here. The depth we support shall not exceed 10 feet unless the wireway is listed for that. So for the most part, guys, we're going to be supporting the conduit 10 feet. So it's a 10-foot interval, and they say from here to here is 10 feet, and then from here to the termination, say it's terminated in a box, this is 5 feet. From here to here is another 5 feet. Makes sense? 5, 10, 10. 5, 10, 10. Distance between supports shall not exceed 10 feet unless the wireway is listed for that. So you go 5 from the termination, 10, 10. 5 from the termination, 10, 10. So definitely we're supporting the wireways. We supported one at each end, and intervals not exceeding 5 feet or individual length longer than 5 feet at each end. Unless this is support, the distance between support shall not exceed 10 feet. The distance between the support shall not exceed 10 feet. Okay. Okay, so there any questions, guys? Any comments? And you see what we have here. Okay, so that's basically our support. You don't want you to exceed more than 10 feet if they're listed. No matter what, they don't want you to exceed the distance between support shall not exceed 10 feet, no matter what. And that intervals not exceeding 5 feet or for individual length longer than 5 feet at each end, points unless listed every 5 feet. Okay, so 5 feet, and if it's more than 5 feet, you go away 10 feet between the supports. Okay, supporting my conduits. Vertical support, guys. The vertical runs of wireway shall be securely supported at intervals not exceeding 15 feet and shall not have more than one joint between the supports. So if that's horizontal, if it's going vertical way, they allow you to go 15 feet between supports. At 15 and not have more than one joint between the supports. Anything wireway section shall be securely fastened together to provide a rigid. So 10 if it's horizontal, 15 if it's vertical. And the question is, now, can you install them supporting this and that? Of course you can. So that wireway, my splices and tabs. Interesting topic, splices and tabs. Can I splice in a wireway? Let me ask you guys, can you splice in a wireway? Can you splice in a wireway? I say we can't splice in a wireway. Can we splice in a wireway? Tab in a wireway, splice. Of course we can. That's one of the major advantages, guys, of having the wireways. You can use them as a J box or a pull box. That's the advantage of it. So splices shall be permitted within a wireway provided, look at the word, provided they are accessible. And almost all wireways, guys, are accessible because wireways have hinged doors or removable doors. But when you do your wireway, my friend Eric, if you do, here's my wireway, and if you splice, if you did your splices here, here's all the conductors coming in and you splicing, and this is conductor splice with this, and this is splice and going over, and all these splices going from different direction, from that one. They want you to fill more than 75% of its area at that point. The conductor, including splices and tabs, shall not fill the wireway to more than 75%. The same rule, JC, my friend, is for panels. A panel, that rule of 75%, you guys are going to see on your journeyman exam too. It applies to panels, switch ports, gears, wires, and all these. You can't, as you splice, you can't fill more than 75% of the area where the splice is located, including the cables that's going through the splice. Might be a cable coming from here, it's not splice, just going all the way up. Anything guys about splices? Any question about splice? Interesting topic. It says power distribution block. Tabs for distribution. And another topic, guys. Okay, conductors include splices. Before we do the dead end, I want to also mention a thing that's called power distribution blocks. Power distribution blocks, guys, are these sets. We just mentioned it. Here's my wireway coming in here. There's a set of screw here or termination box. I can bring my cable in, terminate it here. I bring my cable out, terminate it here. And you guys are very familiar, probably if you've seen it, very familiar with it. This is called power distribution block. Installed in metal shall be listed. If you put a power distribution block, it has to be listed, number one. Number two, it has to be fully insulated, so that when you open it, nobody's going to be exposed to hot conductors. And it says sizing of enclosure. In addition to the wire base, blah, 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 the power distribution block shall be installed in a way with dimension not smaller than specified in the installation instructions of the power distribution block. Wire base, bending space, and power shall. So if you have, the most important thing is power distribution block shall not have uninsulated live parts exposed with wireway, whether or not the wireway cover is installed. So they want you, if you've seen these blocks, guys, I think we've just looked at a couple of, there you go. If one more was one of them, nice picture. Okay, here you go. If you guys with the, here's the blocks, the power blocks here. They want you, power blocks, they want them to be completely fully insulated. So if I'm to open hinge door and look at them, nothing, and everything is completely insulated. So cover is open or when the cover is closed. So that's very important. That's in 2008 they added this rule, and I think it's again good safety rule. So distribution blocks, bring them on, and instead of tabbing, you can put power distribution blocks, but they have to be fully isolated. Dead end shall be closed at the end of the run. You can't just keep a big hole here, right in here open. You have to close the back of the wireway as you go through. Then it'll be closed. Extend from metal wireways. Now, extending from wireways, guys, you can have a wireway and you can extend from this wireway with PVC. You can tap PVC, red, you can EMT, you name it. So are permitted with cord. You can use even cord or any wire methods from Chapter 4 that include the means for equipment grounding conductor. I can't emphasize, you need equipment grounding conductor. So can I tap from the wireway with the rigid? No problem. EMT, no problem. PVC, no problem. You have to have a means. If it's non-metallic, you have to have a means of, if it's like PVC, you bring in a PVC, you have to have somewhere, somehow, a place where you can tie your equipment grounding conductor. Say that was a PVC right here, PVC, guys, and I have to bring my equipment grounding conductor and terminate it to ground the wireway. If you do EMT, no problem. The lock nuts will get you the grounding. So the extension, it says the equipment grounding conductor have to be installed to an approved terminal. You can't just go screw it to the wall, to the guard. You have to have some means of approved means of terminating the equipment grounding conductor to the wireways. If you are using non-metallic wireways. The wireways, before I go to the non-metallic wireways, guys, the metallic wireways are almost identical to the metallic wireways. Check construction specification says electrical and mechanical wireways shall be constructed and installed so that the adequate electrical and mechanical continuity of the complete system is huge, substantial construction. They have to be good enough to handle the weight. A smooth, rounded edge. Cover shall be securely fastened into the wireway marking. It shall be marked that manufacturer name or trademark will be visible after installation. A few things about construction: rigid enough to do the work, labeled by your name or trademark. About the metallic wireways before we go into the non-metallic wireways. Non-metallic wireways, guys, are very easy. They are to the metallic wireways in terms of application. And I know we're due for a break here, but I really want to go over one quick, and then we'll non-metallic wireways. The article that talks about it, guys, 378. For non-metallic, here's the most important rule that you have to pay attention to. Exception for 30 or less does not apply to the non-metallic wireways. You know what? I'm going to spend some good time. But if I give you guys it's 7:03, let me give a quick break, and then we'll get back, because I really let's go back. What is it? 7:03, 7:08. Let's give you a minute. 7:09. Oops, I keep anything here, huh? Let's get back by 7:09. 7. Okay. Take a quick break, and then because I need to spend some good time now. Okay, you guys. Okay, Kim, please. Thank you, my friends. Hopefully, I'm trying to go to the restroom here, huh? Okay, rules that we talk about Wireways metallic, almost all of them apply to non-metallic. With one exception, the derating. So if you have, let me ask you, how many of you guys have installed a non-metallic wireway? A non-metallic wireway. Non-metallic wireway. Anybody installed a non-metallic wireway? Almost the same rule apply to the metallic wireway. The non-metallic wireway, the advantage of using it is an corrosive wet location. But the disadvantage of using non-metallic wireways, if I'm pulling conductors, as you can see, I'm pulling all my conductors, and I pulled these conductors I pulled, if you can see. Let's say you have to derate basically. All there are more than wireways. So let's say I have 30 conductors hot. 30 conductors hot. Look what, and I'm using number 12. I'm going to use number 12, THHN, right? Used, and I'm going to be using. Then I'm going to go to table 310.scene on 90-degree column. So because I want to do it, so I'm going to go grab, and it will get me. I know that number 12 will give me 30 amps for derating. So let's take the 30 amps. And you multiply it by the derating factor from table 310.15b2, which is, if you guys go right to 310.15b2, 310.15b2, 31 conductor 0.4. You're going to find for 30 conductors. Did I say 30 conductors? 30 conductors 0.45. So for conductors, that will give me a 0.45. The rate factor, and that will get you 0.5 times 30 equal. That will get you 13.5 amps. There's the conductors. You get from number 2 conductor only 13.5 amps. So a loss. And if you use bigger conductors, guys, motors, you basically are using. Because if it's metallic, up to 30, you don't derate. You don't have to rate. So had this conduit that I'm looking at being metallic, I can get from number 12, as you all know, I can get from number 12 20 amps, non-continuous. 20 amps, right? No problem. Or I get 16 amps if it's continuous load like lighting. So from 20 amps, 16 amps, all the way to 13.5, there's some loss. And so that's a disadvantage of the metallic. You have to derate from the get-go. There are 30 conductors, limiting like metallic. Any question guys about this? Any question? Very, very important. Any about that? Any of the non-metallic? That's basically the major difference between them is the derating. The other thing I want to mention about the location, guys, where it's used and not used, and for this I probably would flash my here you go, flash my NEC, and I'm going to go to non-metallic, and I'm going to show my desktop quick. We'll share desktop chat. Yep, monitor 2. Okay, that's basically. There you go. Okay, you guys can see that the non-metallic is where the use is only exposed in corrosive environments were identified. Obviously, there's different types of corrosion, different types of chemicals, but environment, that's why it's meant to be. In location, bring it on. Going through walls, if it's not in section, no problem, bring it on. Can't I use these in physical damage, hazardous location, exposed to sunlight if it's not listed for the ambient temperature higher than what's rated for, or conductor insulation higher than what's rated for. indication on they don't want you to put it in a place high temperature-wise higher non-metallic than what's rated for. The rule, guys, for the size of conductor. Same rule for the number of conductors. How much can I fill? Can you guys see that? You can fill only 20% of this conduit. Derating, you start the rate from the get-go. Insulated conductor, you have to allow for friction. If you are using a pull box, you have to apply the same rules of the pull box. Securing and supporting, you have to support every 3 feet. And if it's listed every 10 feet, so the rule is every 3 feet. You have to support unless it's listed. In no case shall the support be more than 10 feet. So every 3 feet you support every 3 feet, and if it's listed for support more than 3 feet, you go more than 10 feet. The same thing. I don't know if I made myself clear, guys. In the wiring, metallic wiring, it was all 5 feet, but if it's listed, you can go up to 10. Vertical, if you're doing vertical support, you can go up to 4 feet. They give you 1 foot. Expansion fitting. This isn't new for low voltage. Every time you have non-metallic, you have to pay attention to expansion fitting. So it is a temperature difference. It creates 0.25 inch in the length of this non-metallic raceway. You have to and then, guys, like PVC, this particular one, guys, could be in your German exam. How to size the PVC for extension for a non-metallic, which is, it refers you to this table. If you go to this table, it tells just the temperature. The temperature in Minnesota for design wise, I found the document that says 90 for design 90. The lowest temperature, I didn't find anything, but let's say 120. 20 minus 20. So it'll give you 110. Based on 110, give you an extension fitting. Can I splice inside it? Bring it on. Don't fill more than 75. Dead end. Make sure with grounding. You need an equivalent grounding conductor with this non-metallic conduit extension. You can extend it from any other wiring method, guys. No problem. Bring it on. So it's very similar. Construction and a couple of things about construction. That's basically the whole thing about Wireways. As long as we're in here, guys. So the major thing really about Wireways non-metallic is the limitation of you have to derate from the get-go. There is no 30 inches, but therefore for high corrosive environment. Here, outlet assembly. Look at the multi-outlet assembly, guys. Multi-outlet assembly are receptacles and wires all together, either wired. Most of the time, the assembly is wired by, it's in manufacturer. Where you use it, it's a multi-outlet assembly shall be used in dry location. No wet, no damp. Very clear, dry location. Where you use it, you can't conceal it, except you can conceal sides, all sides, if it's flush with the building, no problem. But you can conceal 3 sides and leave it flush in the building. Physical damage. Look at the voltage limitation on the multi-outlet assembly, 300 volts. And go higher than that, you have to go thicker to a type of multi-outlet assembly. Subject to corrosive vapor, no. In hoistways, no. Hazardous location. So that's basically what you can do, guys, in multi-outlet assembly. It's a set of conductors and devices in one pre-manufactured. You can face with it, as a matter of fact. Okay, so that's before I and ask you does anybody have any question, guys? This is the poll for tonight. So time to summarize the difference between the two, guys. Keep in mind the derating. You rate or more in non-metallic. 30, more than 30 metallic. The support is slightly different. You need an equivalent grounding conductor with the non-metallic, like every non-metallic conduit. And the use is in wet location, and you can use it in wet location, which we use it with a non-metallic. For really the difference between them. So with that, I'm going to go, guys, and give you my first pull for the night. I have two questions. Oh boy. Option. I'm going to give you 2 minutes for it. I'm going to go ahead and open it, guys. Open my two first pull for the night. So that will basically cover. Actually, multi-assembly. We're going to come to it in a second. Cover with wireways, metallic and non-metallic wireways, metallic and non-metallic wireways. And non-metallic wireways. Okay, let's see where you go. Somebody defend you. Almost have to stop, bud. Okay. All right. Oh, almost there. Perfect. So, just a few things. Correct answers there. One thing I don't know if I forgot to mention or I mentioned that. Wireways are good applications for if you're remodeling a lot and you pull more conductors, pull in, pull out more conductors. Wireways is a convenient way of schools. You do remodeling a lot in schools, change things over all the time. Wireways might be a good option. The thing that we talked about, guys, is tabbing and splicing and moving between equipment and so forth. A few things I mentioned. I showed you guys the multi-out assembly. We're going to talk about dry location, multi-out assembly through dry partition. Yes, no problem. Arrangement must be made for removing the cab or cover on all exposed partitions. Here's multi-out assembly. Can I make this multi-outlet assembly, guys, go through a wall right in here? No problem. As long as I can open the cover in this side and also open the cover in this side. This section right here is unbroken section. So that's basically what they're saying. Multi-outlet assembly are, as you can see, wires and devices. You can have different sections for high voltage, low voltage, but for the most part, it's devices and wires used. Whether you use it, concentration on places with a lot of power, like labs, and so forth, like in labs and so forth. So that's basically my multi-out assembly. Any question about multi-out assembly? It's not a whole lot of wiring system. You get multi-outlet assembly as you can mount horizontal, vertical, or any angle. As a matter of fact, you in the places where you need a lot of power, so you need concentration of power, concentration of power. Okay, you see. Okay, there we go. Okay, so moving from the multi-out. So multi-out assembly is not like a channel. I don't want you. It's devices and wires, but where you need on a top of a lab is a good application for it. Workshop offices where you have a lot of things plugged in. You can carry it or you can plug it in. Now moving all the way to channel raceways. Talk the rest the ones we're going to go to. We move wireways, multi-channel, and we're going to go to metal wireways. So strut type channel ways. How does it install the strut type channel way? Strut type channel way. Strut type channel way. It's a special type of wireway. As you can see, you can mount it to the top. You can put conductors in it. Well, let me just read the definition of what they define is. Strut type channel raceways, a metallic raceway mounted to the surface or suspended, in which conductors or cables laid in place after the raceway has been installed. So you have an structural ceiling, and your ceiling is right in here, and your decking and all this good stuff is coming in here. That's a good application where you can install your side channel right in here and pull your conductors from point A to point B. That's basically a good application for that raceway. With baby, well, again, the wiring system uses permitted exposed dry location subject to corrosive vapors were protected by suitable finish. Every time you put metallic, guys, in any area, it's not your choice, but if you need it for physical protection, then you have the word suitable for finish. So you have to protect it from corrosion. If you protect it from corrosion, no problem. Voltage is limitation on the voltage, 600 or less. That's a lot of voltage, but still not medium voltage. And power pole, you can see in the power poles coming from the top to the bottom, bringing power from the ceiling down. You can use it in hazardous location as permitted, only as permitted, and extension of unbroken link through walls. You can extend it through the walls and through us channels, raceways, and fittings protected from corrosion by animal only indoor. So that's basically, if you are to use this conduit in a place where, because it's metallic, if you're using it in a place where there's some type of corrosion, you have to provide some type of protection for it. And that's about the uses. Mostly indoor, mostly. I've never installed them, but I've seen some of them in factories and so forth, shops. I said the roof. Okay, so that's basically the location for that baby. Where can't you use them? Where concealed. This is not your concealed location. And if it's ferrous channel raceways, which is got aluminum and things, you have to protect them. You have to protect them so they can't be protected only by animals. So it should not be permitted. We're subject to severe physical protection. So it's subject to severe physical protection. They don't want you to use it, or if you want to use it for whatever reason, you have to provide protection for it other than the animal. And as well as that, so most concealed and severe physical protection, you don't want it to use it. So then your use is permitted, not permitted. So the conductor, the same thing, guys. The largest conductor that you can install in this conduit, 600 kcm, for example. kcm, I'm throwing this number here. It has to be listed for that particular raceway. You have to have, like every other raceway, they all use the largest conductor and install in that conduit. The largest conductor that you can install in that conduit. The percentage fill used in table 384.22 for conductors. For conductors, guys, they refer you. This is the cross. Okay, 22. Remove the cross-section area of all the contained conductors. That any cross-sectional area shall not exceed 20% of the interior cross-section area of the the conductors for signals, blah blah blah, between motors and only for starting shall not be considered as a current carrying conductor. The rating factor specified in 310.15b2 applicable to the current carrying conductors up to and including 20% fill specified above. So the rating factor specified shall be applied to the current conductors up to including 20% fill, including 20% fill. So there will be rating. So fill, like we get 20%. So that conduit fill for that particular 20%. And just remember the example that we did for the Wireway, identical. The rating factor shall not apply if 3 states met rating factor. I'm sorry, looking at the. Actually, I'm looking at. There you go. That's where I'm looking. Okay. So number of conductors. I was looking at the wrong one. Sorry, guys. Number of conductors, guys. They give you channel size and inside cross-sectional area. Let me just erase this one here. I was looking at a different one. They want you guys to go to this this table, and if you do me a favor, if you guys go to this table, it gives you the cross-sectional area that you can fill for these channels. So channel is 1.5 inches by 3. That is 3.8, 40% fill and 25% fill. So 40% fill, raceways with external joints shall use a 40% calculation to determine the number of conductors permitted. Raceways with internal joints 25. So if you go to this table, if I have 1.5 inches by 3, I can fill up to 1.5 for inches if I have an external joint. If internal joints, I can only fill 0.964. Okay, basically the I don't think we listed the stuff here. They have a table that you have to apply. The other thing is the rating. If your channel is 4 inches or larger, the cross-sectional raceway exceeds. Actually, if it's more inch, and if the current carrying conductors is 30, some of the cross-section, and you did not fill more than 20%, then you need to derate. You don't need to derate. Here, okay, calculation according with the following formula. They have a formula. So, my question for you, Eric, my friend, you're going to ask me, do I have to derate, Chad, if I pull more than 3 carrying conductors? Well, you don't have to derate if you follow the following rule. Rule number 1, that channel has to be more than 4 inches, 4.5, 5, 6. You can't put more than 30 conductors, hot conductors. So 30, and rule 3, you can't fill more than 20% of that conduit. If you do these rules, guys, then you don't have to do it. Then you have to do it. Anything else about the rules for the this type of conduit, which is type channel raceway? Supporting is not to exceed 3 feet, 10 feet. So surface mounted bar, surface straps, blah blah, at intervals not exceeding 10 feet and within 3 feet of every outlet. And so how do you support that, baby? 3 feet from every outlet. Here's my J, and oops, this is not the right color to use. Let's use a different color. So here's my device over here. Here's my conduit. Feet from every device and intervals of what does it say? 10 feet. Intervals of 10 feet. Okay, suspension mounted shall be permitted to be suspension in the air, approved design for the purpose at intervals 3 feet or 10 feet and 3 feet of every tension end. So let's say you can suspend it and support it every 3 tenths. 10 taps, guys. Can I splice in this baby? No problem. You go ahead and splice in it. Don't fill more than 75% of it as you splice. Again, they are listed with enclosure, transition, power shall be permitted as an equipment. Now, here's my question for you guys. Can you use it as an equipment running conductor? Yes. You have to with a snap, and you have to have the fittings with it, but it's listed as an equipment grounding conductor. It's listed as an equipment grounding conductor. Covers of structure shall be either metallic or non-metallic. Question about this? So, to summarize, if it's more than 4 cubic, and these are 4 inches, so 4 square inches. So if it's 4 square inches, guys, clear that one. The rule, if it's more than square inches for cross-section earth, will exceed. So if it's more than 4 square and fill it more than 20%, and conductors are 30 or less, then no derating. No derating. Otherwise, you have to derate. Okay, that's basically about this baby. I'll go ahead, guys, and give you my poll for that one and move into and again, guys, would you use something like this in an industrial real application where you can pull conductors right under the decking, going with control conductors or wires from point A to point B land? What's the alternative, Jacob, my friend, of this wiring? The alternative of this wiring system is EMT. You EMT. So what's the difference? A channel raceway like this can carry a lot of conductors compared to EMT. Easier access for these conductors. So if you're working in a manufacturing floor, they keep changing the layout of the lighting system and things in that would be a good application for it. So it's easy to access to the conductors, add more, and so forth. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead, guys, and get you my poll for the night, and here you go. This one question, so I gave you only a minute, guys. Go start, my friends. Perfect. Oh. So I'm going to share that one with you. So I'm not going to go, it just talks about the installation of that one. I want to move right away, guys, into my next topic, basically, main topic for the night. The main topic for the night is really raceways and wireways. So about wireways, metallic and non-metallic. Now we're going to go to their cousins, which is the raceway, again, metallic and non-metallic. The raceway, guys, metallic and metallic. The raceway, metallic and non-metallic. And I want to bring to your attention, these are surface, metallic and non-metallic. So they go on the surface, metallic, raceway. Okay, a couple of things about metallic. Let me just, before I go here, I share with you nice picture, monitor one of what? Okay, this is my hair. There you go. Okay, here basically these are the molds, guys. A lot of people refer to them that mold. So metallic surface raceways, here's the same thing, manufacturer, mold, a lot of you guys are familiar with it. They come in different standards. They don't have to be across the square cross-section area. So if you look at the mold 500 and 600, it's one channel, one piece. Here's the definition of 5100, guys. You can buy them 0.53 height by 0.75 width by 120 inches length. The 700 can get you a bigger size. So you can see this is the wire mold. Different manufacturers can make different sizes. What I bring to your attention, guys, is they come as a complete wiring system. So you can have a raceway. As you can see, you can have the strap support, you can have the flat elbows, you can have the teeth, support clips, and look at that deep switch box and optical box, raceway base, and a whole lot of hardware that comes with it. As you can see, extending elbows and blank and so forth. So I want your attention, guys. It's a whole complete wiring system, unlike the Wireways, where the Wireways meant, as I said, not to put devices and so forth, but meant to put boxes with them and put devices and take them all the way to the light and to the switch, and a major change. These are, I can use it as an EMP conduit or as a cable to take it to the light, from the light to the switch, from the switch to the receptacle. I can do a lot of branch circuits with it. So Raceways, and you can see the different manufacturers and different series and so forth. That's what I'm thinking. Just to quick show. Moving on to I have grinder here. Here's another look, guys. You can go to Granger, and you see that there's a lot of these conduits and molds. Here's the wire mold raceway. We do have this one as a 96 by 1.125 by 0.62 inches. Raceway locking hinges, cover, ivory, and all this good stuff. You might see also what's recommended for you is boxes. They have other stuff as you can see, raceways, excluding inches, and so forth. And all the hardware, we just go. So and I'm sure a lot of you guys have used them. Look at the boxes, the covers, everything that goes with them. It's not just a raceway. It's really a complete wiring system with its devices and so forth. Let me see if I can get into raceway hinge locking. So different sizes, different hardware that you can see, the elbows, guys, that comes with it and so forth. We have my hardware connectors here. Just for those who haven't used that wiring system, that's to get you up and running with that. Okay, so all the way back to. Actually, how many of you guys have used metal raceways? One more time, ask you, how many of you have used metallic raceways or non-metallic? All of you have done them. They come in different shapes, as you can see. Unlike the Wireways, where they come in square, these guys come in different shapes: a square, rectangle, any shape that you can do. Application where you remodel a lot. You can plug in, take them out, pull the conductors in them. A lot of guys some or have a cover that you can remove, where you can have access to the conductors. Basically, where would I use them? Retrofit. Retrofit is a good example where you don't want to use EMP exposed because it looks like crap. You don't want to use it. I hate using it in residential, but I've seen it used in residential where you can go to a light in the ceiling because people are too lazy to dig through the sheetrock. They don't make holes in the sheetrock and pull the conductors through the walls. That's good. That's an application for them, I guess. When use is permitted, non-permitted. Here you go. In dry location, in hazardous location, guys, I hate to use the hazardous location, but there's always anything can be used in hazardous location with certain exceptions. It's floor, permitted on the article that talks about raised floor. Extension through walls and floors, no problem, as long as you maintain unbroken part that goes through the wall. You can have, so if it goes through the wall, that part that goes through the wall or the partition cannot be broken. Where can't I use it? So it's mainly for by location, guys. Physical, that's limitation, no. There's limitation on the voltage if you get, but hey, well, if you really insist in having 400 to 80, no problem. Why don't you just maintain the thickness of 0.04 inches, and then we can allow you to go higher than that, so you can put your 480 volt system in. If you decided so. So really, in real life, it has limitation of voltage in a low voltage business, because you can have it thicker and you can buy 480. Corrosion, remember, this is not your corrosion. This is metallic, so you don't want to put it in corrosion. Hoistway, no. We're concealed, except this one tells you can go through partition. So if my wireway is going through here to here, and I have my wall, as we all know, coming right in here, no problem, as long as this is non-broken. It's a non-broken part that goes through this here is unbroken, right? No problem. Then you access to the wires from this side and access from this side. Any question, guys? Any question, my friends? Any questions about use of this Wireways? This is used for retrofit and small sizes. So that Wireways. So moving on to other, like every other raceway, guys, they always specify the largest conductor that you can install in that particular surface raceway. Surface raceways always specify the number of conductors, the largest conductor. So can I install 200 kcm, 2000 kcm? Well, you can. Listed on it, then you can. If it doesn't, then you cannot install the largest conductor. Number of conductors shall not be greater than number. Look, I tell you, here's a major difference, Joe, between a wireway and a raceway, a surface raceway. A wireway, guys, it's 20% filled, no else, done. For raceway, it says, look at the number for which the raceway is designed for. Shall not be greater. How many conductors can I fit in this raceway? It will not be greater than the number for which the raceway is designed. So you go back to manufacturer. So they throw down, can I fill this conduit 50%, 60%? Well, if the manufacturer says so. And so basically, there is no 20% fill. Like there is no 20% fill. It's like a raceway. You can almost fill it all the way up to 40. Okay, so emphasize this. But then look at the catch-22. So you can as big as you want, but there's catch-22. In order not to derate, the following condition must apply. Number one, the same condition, guys. 4 inches squared. The size, the cross-section area has to more than 4 per inch. Rule number one. Number two, you have to have 30 hot conductors or less. Number three, you can't fill more than 20%. So it's like, Brent, friend, it's like treating the raceway as a raceway. It really is. If you apply the rules of Wireway on a raceway, then basically you don't have to do it. The advantage of this, I can carry 30 conductors now if I apply these rules, and I don't have to do it. And if you have to apply the derating factor less than 30, it defeats the purpose. It defeats the purpose of using these. So it's a good idea to adhere to these rules, even though you can carry more conductors than them. But if you have a bigger type of raceway, like close, more than 2 by 2. 2 by 2 will give you 4. So if you have 2 point something and multiplied by 2 point something, that'll give you more than 4 squared inch. And you limit the number of hots to 30 and don't fill more than 20, then guess what? You don't have to do it. Anything about these rules? But otherwise, you can fill them as much as the manufacturer says, but you have to do it. You have to do it. This is a major change between raceways and airways, metallic raceways and metallic wireways. Very interesting. Of 20% on the raceways, surface raceways, versus wireways will limit you to 20%. So then they will tell you, how do you support that baby? And say, hey, by the way, why don't you refer to the manufacturer? We're not smart enough to figure it out. So are you for the support guys to the manufacturer? Supporting and securing. If you guys remember, the wireways was 5 and 10. If I remember, every 5 feet, and they can go all the way up to 10 feet. For metallic. Now, what do is they say, well, we have no idea. You have to go and see what the manufacturer's specification with it. So if you don't know, and if you don't have the material, guys, apply the same rule that we applied for wireways, and you would be in. So if we did 5 feet between the port and 8 feet, and you keep supporting every 5 feet, and under only if it's listed, we went for 10 feet. So if that piece is listed for higher than 5, then we supported them by 10. If you guys remember. Oh, that's basically in support. So we're not smart enough to know, the code doesn't specify what support. A splice, a nice splice in this shall be emitted in raceways having removable cover, only if the cover can be removed. Some of them have a removable cover. Some of them have a removable cover. Others don't. If they have a removable cover, then no problem. Go ahead and splice. But if you splice, would you please make that 75% fill? So do go higher than 75%. Sound familiar, guys? All the raceways they talked about tonight, they all have this magic 75% fill. They just want you to open it there and find a rat nest right in it with all these wire nuts and terminals and so forth, and taps and tapes and everything else. So can I splice and tab in a raceway? Yes, if it has a removable cover, because the tab guys you need access to your splices and tabs. So if we have my friend, when we tab, what do we do when we tab? We put a jam box. So the advantage of this conduits and all other conduits, all raceways this time, you don't need a gearbox. You can splice right into it. So, moving right in here, guys, bringing my conductors. I'm bringing conductor number 1 right in here, and splice it or tab it, and I can continue with all the way. I want to tab it here and do another conductor. So I have a conduit that's going this way. I want to tap that phase through this conduit, so no problem. Bring it on. You tap from here and you go. So that's kind of the advantage of this wire, like raceway, like exactly gutter. No exceptions. Okay. And moving on into grinding. Grinding, the enclosure. It's a surface metallic enclosure providing transition from other wire methods to have a means for connecting the equipment grounding conductor. All have the same statement, guys. If you are to use metallic, by the way, the Wireway itself is listed as an equipment grounding conductor. So surface enclosure provides transition, blah blah. So it is an equipment grounding conductor, but say I want to go use a PVC here, I need to tab it with a PVC. Then what I need to do, I need to bring an equipment grounding conductor inside the PVC, and a location where I can terminate the equipment grounding conductor, so I can tie it directly into the wireway, into the raceway, exactly like the wireway did. and then the wireway act as an equivalent ground and conductor. And then I can pull my equivalent ground and conductor can go all the way equipment grounding conductor all the way to the load or to the panel, the load or the panel. Okay, that's basically for grounding. It's listed combination raceway. Raceways have also an advantage, guys, where you can have a combo. I can have a raceway, surface-mounted raceway, big fat baby like this, and I can cut it into two or multiple sections. We can have the high voltage section here. It has to be labeled, and the low voltage section here. So different systems should run in separate compartments. If you have separate compartments, designated, either you stamp them, imprint them, color code them of the interior face. So you have to make clear that this is low voltage section and this is the high voltage section, the low voltage section and the high voltage section. So the advantage, guys, for this type of system is you can, instead of having two conduits, one to carry the control wires and one to carry the power for a process, you can one of these that you can put your control wires in one chamber and your power lines in another chamber. So that's, or you can use, if you're doing offices, you can put your high voltage. What is high voltage here, guys? 208, 120, 480, 277 if it's rated for it. Then your cable TV and your phone and all this good stuff right at the bottom. Right at the bottom. So there basically. Any questions about that separation before you do? Any question? Combination raceways? Question about the combination raceway? Question about the combination raceway? No. Your low voltage section here and your high voltage section was all the way in. Tab. No problem. Meter raceways shall be such construction as will distinguish them from other raceways. Interesting. If you guys go to the construction, surface meter raceway will be of such construction as will distinguish them from other raceways. Surface raceways and their elbows, coupling, plow shall be designed so that the sections can be electrically and mechanically, as you can see, designed that the section can be electrically because it's a conductor mechanically coupled together and installed without subjecting the wires to abrasion. So you don't want to have edges there, guys, as you pull or put your conductors in it. You do the installation of these conductors. And accessories of non-metallic material are used on surface raceways. They shall be identified. Can I use a cover of non-metallic surface raceway on a metallic one? Yes, if it's identified for the use. So your cover for the raceway can be metallic or non-metallic. Obviously, if it's non-metallic, used with metallic, it has to be identified that it can be used with metallic. It can be used with metallic. As about this one, so that's basically a Wireway. So before we get to that one, so difference between, we talked about, guys, the Wireways and the Raceways. Any question about this before? Any question about Raceways? A little bit about non-metallic Raceways in here. Now we'll switch into that one. So it's 7:58. How about if I give you guys, let's give you 7:58. Let me give it 06, 8:05. That would be good. Let's take a quick break. 8:05. When we get back, we will continue with that one. We will continue with Raceway and Wireways. Any questions before we go? Any question about one more time? Any questions? Okay, let's take a quick break and then we'll Okay, guys, and please. Thank you. All right, before we get to the summary, guys, I'm going to go with you my desktop again. Go to monitor 2. Monitor 2, my friends, we're just going to view the non-metallic. We talked about the metallic wireways, guys. This is just a quick review of non-metallic. Same thing, article covers, installation, construction, and fittings. These are complete wiring system, guys, except it's non-metallic, as we know. Deflection, a non-metallic wireway is intended to mount to the surface or the structure with L-shaped couplings, the connectors and boxes, and so the whole and fittings for installation of electrical conductors. So this is just indicated that it has its own set of rules and combinations so forth. Surface non-metallic raceways and associated fittings shall be listed. So friends, if you decided, we have that one here so I can see you guys. If you decided to go custom design yourself a mold, this is not. You have to go to the UL and get your list for it. It's permitted. This is what I want to highlight. Where can you use the non-metallic? Non-metallic shall be permitted in dry location. Okay, use is permitted. Use non-permitted. Not permitted. Okay, it's non-metallic. Raceways. So in dry location, extension through. So they want you to use really this one in dry location. Or through walls, blah blah blah. You can put them through walls and sealing it as a non-broken section. Permitted to pass through, blah blah blah. Dry if you read through it through an unbroken section. So it's not to be concealed. Those could be covered from the 3 sides or pass through all to go to the next side, as long as the part that passed through the wall does not have any opening in it. So by location, conduit still location. Where can't you use it concealed, except if it goes to a wall, severe physical damage? Here's limitation, guys. And volt, any other next, the metallic, again, unless listed for the voltage. So you can, if you can buy one for 480, use it. Always no. Hazardous classification, no, unless it's permitted. Here's another disadvantage: is if the temperature, ambient temperature, or if the conductor temperature, that temperature limitation, these two, is lower than what the raceway is rated for, you can't use it. The conductor must be listed. The number of like any other one, guys, number of conductors or cables in that one. We are not smart enough to know it. So what do we need to do? You have to go to the manufacturer. Number of conductors on metallic, which is designed for. So if you look at the number of conductor that's designed for, shall not be greater than the number for which the raceway is designed for. So we refer you to the manufacturer specification. Securing and supporting, we also have no idea how to secure it. So what do? We refer you to the manufacturer specification. As I said, if you know, guys, if you apply the rule of what is it, 3-3 for metallic, it was 3 feet, 3 feet. 3 is like 3 between the support and 3 from every terminal. That will get you there. That's what I do. Splices. Can I splice? No problem, as long as you have a cover capable of being removed. This is the key point. If you cover that's capable of being removed, so you can have access to the splice, no problem. Splice. And guess what? Do not make the splice fill more than 75% of the conduit, like any other conduit or raceway. This is a non-metallic conduit, guys. So what do you expect to have? If equipment grounding conductor is needed, with 99.9% of the time, you need to pull an equipment grounding conductor. Combination raceways. Can you have lighting and power and low voltage system? No problem. There's the signal and low voltage system. You need to do. You do the same thing like the high voltage, guys. You need to separate them, and for average Joe like Chad, you need to print on them, stamp them, imprint on them, code them, so people do not install Cat5 with lighting and power circuits. Any questions so far? Any questions? I can see your feedback here. Any questions? So that's the metallic one, guys. Just looking here. Like metallic one, if you use it as a combo, low voltage, high voltage, you have to separate them and label them, imprint them, stamp them. Um, shall be run in separate compartments identified by stamping, imprinting, or color coding for the interior finish. That's basically as ugly as it gets in this one. Construction. The surface metallic shall be of such construction as will distinguish it from any other raceways, so you don't get in it, I guess. With elbows and everything shall be designed so that shall be mechanically coupled together, not electrically. Remember, this is non-metallic and installed with subject wires to abrasion. So they don't want you to put, even though non-metallic, they don't want you to put them in a way where the sharp edges could damage the conductor. Raceways and fittings are made of suitable non-metallic material, resistant to moisture and so forth. Shall all be flame with non-metallic. Is the problem with the flame retardant, resistance to impact and crush. And so I have a couple of things. The line in this article, guys, is it has to be identified. Such non-metallic raceways that have limited smoke producing characteristics shall be permitted to be so identified. Then you can use it, I guess, and with linen sealing and so forth. So that's basically it of the raceways, and you guys directly back to where we were. Ask you if any has any questions. Any questions, my friends? Summarize, guys. The major ones that we did is the raceways and the wireways. And the installation, I always think of the wireway as a feeder. I always feeder when it's to the wires. And when we put to this raceways, you can use a feeder plus branch circuits, guys. So that's kind of Raceway has a complete system. You can use boxes and devices with it. The Wireways don't. They're just meant to go between panels and extension and so forth. Wireways, mainly, as I said, not extending panels, but major loads like motors and so forth. Raceways, you can use it as a row mix, basically. So if you just think about raceways as a cable, you can go to light switch receptacle, and you also can use it higher than that. But Wireways is meant mainly to feed loads and so forth. We talked about the limitation, guys, of the Wireways. The limitation of the Wireways is the 20% fill. You can't fill it more than 20%. Raceways, no problem. You can fill a raceway higher. Raceways advantage, you can have a low voltage section and a voltage section. For the part, Wireways can come with one section. For the most part, come with one section. While the cover and conductors that are placed in it, so as the raceway. The raceway can get them with a cover. When it is complete and wires are pulled into it, you can pull the wire into the raceway, or you can put the wires in the raceway and cover it. Removable cover, and that's the advantage of a raceway too, as well as a wireway. So that's basically a few things, guys, about them. They'll highlight. Any question, any comments, guys, about the raceways, wireways, wireways? I emphasize, when I see a wireway, it always comes to my mind, take a bunch of circuits from a panel and then split them, use it as a raceway, as a J-box, and set them to feed multiple motors. That's one thing always comes to my mind. Or take a feeder and split the feeder, tab that feeder to go feed multiple other feeders and so forth. While this way, as I said, you can feed a switch, receptacle, anything from it. Metallic, the key point, guys, metallic for the most part is the only major difference, I guess, is corrosion. Some of even non-metallic, they don't want you to use it in other than dry location. But for the rest, if it's always the non-metallic is a good application for a corrosive environment. Actually, what I have is multi-outlet assembly. The key point for multi-outlet assembly to remember, it has devices in it. That's really the key point. And before mounting is completed. So multi-outlet assembly is a raceway with wires, so pre-manufactured, pre-wired, and you hardwire it, or you plug it in. Gutter with ungrounded conductor number 4, larger required insulated fittings. Okay, so there I'm going to go to the gutter in a second here. Any questions? And before I want to move into the gutter, but before I move to the gutter, my friends, I'll get to that section here and the gutter section in this second here. But before we do that, let's go get you guys the third poll for the night. This is how many sections? Okay, this is 4. So I'm going to go open. I gave you 5 minutes. I've been generous with you tonight, guys. Go ahead and start if you don't mind. And okay. Okay, let me see. Close it. Okay, so you guys look at the stuff that we did. There was some good review information about the wireways and um, and the voltage, for example, 277, 480. Can you put them in a raceway? Yes, if it's identified for thickness 4 or more. Brief installation for service raceways such as uses Conductor. We just went over all the stuff there is, and we said how the thing I always say, in a way, if you want to do race, you have to have more than 4 cubic square inches. Don't fill in 20%, and don't put more than 30 hots in the raceway. That will not silicon metallic. You know, there's a difference in the construction, but really the voltage too. There's a voltage limitation like 300 volts or less for the low voltage. Any questions about Apollo or any of these? One more time, I can ask you guys any questions. No. Okay. Well, with the time I have, guys, I'm going to go to the auxiliary gutters. Just show a few things in auxiliary gutters, guys. So I'm going to go share my desktop, share monitor 2, and go directly here and just walk you quick through before I'm going to assign different yeah. Okay. So basically, here's my auxiliary gutter. I always like guys to say what stuff is all about: installation, construction, metallic gutters and non-metallic gutters, and their associated fittings. So that's the deal. Let's just see the finishing, guys, of a metallic gutter. It says a sheet metal enclosure. It's not a raceway, it's an enclosure. So that is very important. Used to supplement the wiring space at the meters, distribution centers, switchboards, and center points of wiring system. It's not meant, guys, for you to pull the conductors 500 feet away from the service. It's meant to extend, supplement the wiring space. Because the panel cannot handle all these terminations. What do? You add a big chunk of sheet metal next to it, so it can supplement the wiring. So very important. Sheet metal, it's an enclosure. Supplement wiring space at the meter, distribution center, switchboard, or some other point. Then it has hinges, removable covers, protecting the electrical wires, cable, and you can put bus bars in it. You can put bars, guys. A good example is a termination box where you get your cables are so big, so you have to add a second where you can terminate your box cables, and then you bust these cables into your enclosure. Designed for the conductors to be laid in place after the whole system is complete. That's basically the non-metallic. The metallic is, again, it doesn't spread the fire retardant. Non-metallic enclosure supplement the space at the same thing at all these locations. As you can see, guys, it has removable burrs for the bus. You can put bus bars in them. Very important, guys, putting the bus bars in them. And for the protection and putting all the stuff. Okay, where do you use it? Outdoor. You can use this baby outdoor, but it has to be non-metallic one. The installed outdoor shall comply with the following: is be listed as suitable for exposure to the sun, be listed suitable for use in what location, be listed for maximum ambient temperature of installation. If it's indoor, shall be listed as the maximum temperature that you can install it at. That's basically the listing for the non-metallic. If installation, any question about this? So it's very clear. It's really not a wiring system. It's an enclosure. And of an enclosure. So the guy is an enclosure. Any question, guys? Any question about that? over chat so I can make sure that I didn't put you to sleep. Okay, so that's, let me just grab my okay. On guys to initial use is permitted. Okay, so let's look at the sheet metal one. Where can you use it? Indoor and outdoor shall be permitted for indoor outdoor use, no problem. Wet location, but it has the gutter is installed in wet location shall be suitable for wet location. So you need to NEMA or something include in it. Non-metallic ones, no problem, listed for the maximum ambient temperature that's going to be encountered. If it's outdoor, shall be permitted to be installed outdoor. We're listed as suitable for that purpose. If it's indoor, shall be permitted to be installed indoor. So outdoor guys, you can no problem, but they have to be listed if they're outdoor, both of them. You are permitted to enclose switches. Here's what they don't want you to do. They don't want my friend Dan to make that gutter a panel. They don't want you to enclose switches, protection devices, appliances. Might as well design yourself a switchboard then. Or equipment. It's meant to supplement the wiring system at panels and the service and panels and meters and so forth. Greater than. This is where I told you guys the limitation, and you probably thought Chad was dreaming. Limitation. So very important. 30 feet beyond the equipment that it supplements, and you cannot install devices in it. As permitted, there's some exception for elevators, guys, but that's as there shall be. But most part, you have a 30 feet length, and you can't install them in other locations. Okay. Anything else? Any question about the gutter? So supplement the wiring part of a meter or a service and so forth. Number of if it's metal, here's what they tell you guys. The sheet metal shall not exceed 20%. Does that sound familiar to you? The derating factor shall be applied only if the current carrying conductor includes neutral, blah blah, does not exceed 30. Does that sound familiar, guys? It's exactly like a wireway. Conductors for signals and so forth do not count. If you have to put them, they don't count. Very familiar. Non-metallic, baby. The sum of the cross-section area of conductors, blah blah, shall not exceed 20%. Interior. So important. If it's non-metallic, limited to 20%, except you still have to derate. For non-metallic, can I derate? You have to derate. It doesn't say that you can't derate for non-metallic. That's the disadvantage of advantage, guys, of non-metallic. Okay, we know that we can't fill more than 20%, and we don't derate if it's less than 30. Moving into the M50, guys. If you notice that we talk, let me just move it all the way. We talk about gutters because supplement the panels. When it supplements the panels, guys, then you can use bars in it. You don't have to use conductors. Sheet metal auxiliary gutters with the number of conductors contained in the sheet of 30% or less, the adjustment factor, blah blah, shall not apply. The current carrying continuously a bus bar cover. This is what I want to get to. A sheet metal auxiliary gutter. If you have bus bars, cover bus bars, shall not be and not exceed. Here's the value that was on the journeyman exam test, right in here. So we're using cover bars inside this gutter to supplement the panel. Then every square inch of cover bar can carry up to 1,000 amps. If you decided this is for the copper, where's my copper here? Carry conductors, aluminum. Okay, for area. If you decided to use a aluminum bar because you don't like copper, you have to drop down to 700. one on a journeyman exam. No question asked. Metallic, this is for metallic. For non-metallic one, you have to derate from the get-go. No leeway, no, you have to derate from the get-go. And here's about the ambiguity of these, the gutters and bus bars inside the gutters. Question. To securing and supporting, we're smart enough, we know how to secure them. Sheet law shall be supported throughout their interlinked at intervals of 5 feet. Every 5 feet, please support. Metallic, non-metallic shall not exceed 3 feet. And at each end, of course, unless listed for the support. If it's listed for the support, but not metallic. If it's listed, you can go up to 10 feet. Expansion, the same guys for expansion. If it's non-metallic, you have to. If it can extend 0.25 inches, then you have to find expansion fitting for it. Within the gutter, can I splice? No problem. Shall be permitted. Why? Because you can get access to the splices and tabs. Bare conductors, for conductor shall leave the gutter the thermal section. The conductor shall not be brought in contact with uninsulated parts of the or net potential. So if using cover bare conductors, so bare conductors tabs from bare shall leave the gutter opposite the terminal cushions, okay, and conductor shall not be brought in contact with uninsulated conductors. Suitable for identification, for identification of gutters, okay, overcompression device. Tab conductors from conductors in railway shall be provided with an overcompression device. As we said, guys, the gutters is great to tap from them, but as you tap the conductor, you provide it. Insulated conductors, if you bring insulated conductor, make sure as you bend them, you maintain that bending radius, minimum bending radius, from table 312.60a. If you use the gutter as a pull box, meaning if you put number 4 conductor or larger, well, guess what? You have to apply the rules of the pull box. And if you guys remember what we talked about, the pull box, you have to size them. Any comments? Any question about the gutter? So a lot repeats itself, and hopefully by repeating it, it sticks in your mind, guys. Okay, let's see if we can use the baby. Metallic gutter shall be connected to an equipment gutter conductor, to an equipment bonding jumper, or to the grounded conductor where permitted or required. So it is you have to ground it, obviously, unless it's metallically connected to the equipment. So you have it, and it's considered an equipment gutter conductor. So that's in terms of okay, where are we here? Concern a couple of things about the construction, guys. Electrical and mechanical continuity, complete system secured together. It says electrically and mechanically continuity of a complete system. They don't want you to put it halfway through. Substantial construction shall be substantial construction and shall provide a complete enclosure. And so to make it, enough guys to handle all these pressures. Smooth round edges. To put smooth round edges so you don't damage the conductors. Covers should be securely fastened to the gutter. So big light parts, 2 inches. Conductor shall be securely and rigidly supported so that the minimum clearance between bare kind conductor, metal parts, blah blah blah, potential on the same is 2 inches. So remember, guys, you are making a panel here without putting devices in it. So when you put bars, you have to maintain the distance between bars and so forth. I want you to mark it, guys. If it's outdoor, here's the following: sunlight, exposed to sunlight, suitable for exposed to sunlight, wet location, temperature if it's inside, conductor temperature that you can put in them. If it's indoor, shall have a following marking: indoor conductor installation temperature. Conductor or install conductor installation temperature to be marked on it. Basically, this little baby. Let me grab that one. Guys, here's a big fat panel here. Let's say this is your 800 amp panel. 800 amp panel. And decide to extend this panel right here to go to let's just say you're going to all the way to another panel here. That could be an extension. You can pull all your conductors from point A to point B between these two panels. Just trying to come up. There you go. You can pull them all the way to this panel and we'll come to device, feed this panel. That's an extension. So basically, extension termination. Another example, guys, is we have used it. I used it on a project. Is we want to add to a switch gear. You add to a switch gear, so you extend the switch gear. So here's my switchboard sitting right here, and you bus it. Here's the bus bars and the switch gear, bus bar and horizontal, vertical, and so forth. And you bus all the way to another section. That gutter. So busting phase A and phase B and phase C right in here, all the way to another section, and that will get you an extension of another big panel. And these bus bars, they could be 1000 amp each. This is 1000 amp bus from panel here into another sub panel here. You can extend more loads. Why would you use something like this? Because you need more loads. You ran out of loads, and they're so close, and you will pick up a very huge amount of amps. This one was a 4000 amp switch gear, a 4 amp switch gear. Pass them to a different piece of equipment, and then you start adding devices to distribute your loads. Question is about the gutter. I emphasize, and I'm watching you guys here, and emphasize the idea that it's limited to 30 feet. So 30 feet is good enough for you. Wiring here. So clear it in terms of, let me back. And we thought, guys, if it's number 4 or larger, gutter number 4 or larger require an insulating fittings. So we have an insulating fittings conductors number 4 larger. Like conduits, they don't want you to damage the conductors. They don't want you to damage the conductors. So I let me see if I can anything share with you before I give you my flow. Got that one. Okay. All right. So got my child that one. Okay. With this, guys, let me give you my poll for night, and then we'll convene in a second. Okay. This one is actually, guys, 13 questions, so I don't know how much time I give you. Okay, I'm going to give you 14. Let's give you 9 minutes here. You probably will finish before that one. Okay, so why don't you go ahead, and this is kind of the exercise at the end, summary of everything that we've done with conduits, and then we put together and all the night. Great. There you go. Number one, guys, a lot of you answer it that surface meter raceways cannot pass through floors. Well, you can pass through walls, floor, or partitions as long as it's an unbroken part. I mean, it's blank. So you can pass it. Another one is surface meter raceways used in hoistways. Obviously, no. So I'm just looking at your comments, guys, in here. Good. Good. Okay. Basically, guys, a quick review of the whole system together. Non-metallic wireways be passed through walls. Yes, no problem. If it's unbroken part. So that's basically it. Before any question, guys, about that poll? Any question about the poll? Question about the poll? Any questions? So I use this exercise, guys, or walking through the wireways and the raceways and auxiliary gutter and multi-outlet assembly, help you a little bit more understand the advantage of using these wiring systems. So in a situation where you don't want to pull ET because of the look and anything else, that would be a good application. Okay, I have an exercise for you. An example I want to go over. This is the wireway that you're looking at, and I have 6 by 6 inch wireway, and I need to find how many conductors again that you can fit in this wireway. There are 3 odd conductors, XHHW-2. XHHW-2. So what would you do? First thing, guys, you need to do in a situation like this is how many conductors you can fit. You need to find conductors you can fit of this side. So you take the number 3 odd, and it granted you that the 3 odd is within the limit of this wireway, because everywhere we have to have a stamp with the number, or it has to be listed for the largest conductor you can install. So take this one to chapter 9, table number 5, and again this is an NEC code book, table 5, and in particular, table chapter 9, 5, and in particular, my friend, dimension of table 5. Let's go to THH. We need to go look at THH. XHHW, if I'm looking right, XHHW-2. The dimension of this baby is XHW HHW-2. XHW-2. So the dimension of XHW-2 is 3 odd. If you guys go to the 3 odd, you're going to find, can you guys go to table 675? Could you go to page 675? Chad is looking here. Page 675, looking at XHHW-2. XHHW-2, chapter 9, table 5, 679. If you will find that the cross-section area of this conductor, which is number 3 odd, is actually 0.2642. So that a 0.26 and a 4 and a 2. Okay, then if I need to find how many conductors can fit in this, how many I can fit in this wireway, what I have to do is now take my 6. Here's my calculation: 6 times 6, and by 0.8 and 0.2, because you can't fill more than So if you do, so 6 times 6 times 0.2 equal, that will get you 7.2. 7.2 is per inch. Okay, and then, my friend, if you let me see a different color, and you take your 7.2 and divide that baby by the cross-section area of the conductor, which is 0.2642 and 0.2642 equal. That should get you 27 conductors. 27 conductors. So you can put 27 conductors in a 6 by 6. If I did the calculation math, yep, we did it 0.2642. 642. So 7.2 by 0.264. Yeah, it's 27. So that's how many conductors of Riyadh you actually install in Wireway 6 by 6 Wireway. A lot of conductors. So let's go just to give you how these conductors you can feed a lot of stuff from 3 outs. A lot from 3 outs. So if you're in a commercial building and you're 3 outs, is my 200 panels with 220, 225. I use 200 amp. So I can feed, so 7, if you divide these by 4, say 4, that will get you 6 panels, 200 amp that you can feed, guys. So they will get you 6 panels, 200 amp each, 2 amp each. That you can pull all the conductors to go feed close 6 panels, 200 amp each. 4 conductors, 3 phase. 4 conductors, 3 phase. Hot, neutral, and ground. All of 3, no derating with a neutral. So that's a lot of cover to pull. That's cover to pull. And so that's the alternative. As you see, my friend, is you take all these conductors and 4 conductors, you pull them in a rigid or EMT or PVC conduit. So Wireway can give you a lot of to pull your conductors through. And the same calculation guys could apply for raceways. Calculation could apply for raceway. If I stick the raceway with so here's my Wireways. Let's look at metallic surface raceway. If I want to pick a 0.53 by 0.75 by so that's a cross section area of my Wireway. I do the same calculation. Wires you can fill them as much as the manufacturer tells you to do so, but if you take advantage of the no derating, you can't fill them more than that. You can more than 20%. Conduits. Thank you, Jesse. If you imagine pulling 6 conduits, 4 conductors, 3 aught each, amount of bending conduits, and the amount of it's time for certain applications where I can pull them all in a Wireway or a raceway, as a matter of fact. Inside the right raceway, you can pull all these conductors in. My friends, any questions? I have this for you today. Next week, and I think we're getting closer to having so next week, guys, if you remember, well, last week we covered conduits. We talked about different types of conduits. This week we talked about, as you can see, raceways and wireways. Mainly, our topic was raceways and wireways. And we'll continue talking about wiring methods from Chapter 3 in the NEC code book. And next week, my friends, we're going to jump into the flexible conduits and cabinets. So I'm going to spend So time talking. I talked about the gutter today, so I'm not going to spend too much time. Next week talk about the gutter, but I'm going to be talking definitely about flexible metallic conduits, flexible non-metallic, liquid type flexible, and all these conduits and cabinets So that's the topic for the week. If you guys still need my help of taking the quiz, can you email me. Can you just chat with me privately? Say, Chad, I still need your help in the quiz. So, or any quizzes that we took. So I know some of you did, but I might. There's so many that has been happening. So just do we contact regarding making up test? Making up test procedure, guys, in your, it's in your body. I keep bugging Amy. But really in your syllabi, yes, I haven't tried it, but I'll tell you in the syllabi, rescheduling an exam, direction for taking a quiz without a link. I need to open the quiz though. A link to be okay. Yeah, you need. Amy has to open the quiz for you. This is if you don't get there and you're scheduled to take the quiz. There's page 7. There's direction how to take the quiz. But if you have an invitation to take the quiz, you Amy to open it for you. So now I'll if you guys haven't taken it, I'll forward it to Amy. Just tell me, Chad, I have not taken this exam. I'll forward that info to Amy, and she'll be able to take care of you. Okay, question, guys, before I let you go for the night. Any questions? Thank you for being a great audience tonight. I hope I did not bug you too much. So we'll see you this week on talking about flex. We're going to flex it next week. Thank you and good night.